cooler. It was called a cooler. It was a small room downtown that was refrigerated, and we rented it, and we kept our stuff in there, our dairy products in there, and we'd eat. That's where we'd eat each morning and load our respective trucks up. I drove a Chevy panel truck, and then a big Dodge, I call it a lumber wagon, but it was a big on the route. And I know people don't believe this, but it's true. And Nugent learned one of my routes very well. He knew every stop I was going to make. So there were 40 or 50 stops. He knew that route. After a while, he knew the route. And sometimes I'd show up at the customer location. The dog's right there.
Huh.
He's cut through the backyards and the alleys.
Wow.
And I swear that it was just unbelievable. That dog was uncanny.
What type of dog was it, Dad?
Mixed breed. He had some. And he had some shepherd, collie shepherd.
Yeah.
He was smart. He was a very smart dog. And literally, he learned that. He learned my shortest route, which I think was about 50 customers tops.
Right.
He learned that route in almost no time. The other route was a little trickier. Sometimes if I didn't see him about halfway through the route, I knew he's lost. He's mixed up. I wouldn't worry about it.
Right.
He'd always be there at the cooler the morning when we left.
Yeah.
He'd follow my van.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, Dad, when you used to cut the grass at the cemetery, by the time you got done cutting the grass, you had to start all over again. 'Cause you hand walked. You walked and mowed the cemetery, right?
Yeah, we had a real Type 4 with a Kohler motor on it, and it was around 35 acres. And it would take me a week almost all day. And the caretaker who hired me told me, he said, "Let me tell you something, son." He said, "You're going to be walking all day, 4 or 5 days a week, behind this self-propelled real Type 4 with a Kohler engine on it. And your best friend is going to be a comfortable pair of shoes or a boot." He said, "I'd recommend an ankle-high boot." So my mom and I went down. I think we got the first one at Montgomery Ward or Sears, one or the other, and they were an ankle-high boots.
Yeah.
And I found a pair after a couple of trials. I found a pair that was just I could walk all day long. And so I remember he said that boot will be your friend. That's what I named another boot.
Huh. That's right.
That's how she got that name.
Wow.
And I've told her that story many times.
Yeah.
And so I walk all day long. I had that real Type 4, and I'd finish up sometimes on Thursday afternoon, most times on Friday, and start all over the next Monday. And not just during the summer months, not all year round, but
yeah.
And I'm not proud of this. So I was out there one day mowing, and some of these stones, you've been to that cemetery, you cleaned up my dad's marker.
Yeah.
But one day I just couldn't hold it any longer, so I looked all around. I couldn't see anybody around, so I went over and I peed on the backside of one of these markers. There's that. I mean, I had no more than, I'm taking a walk around and start my mower up and start again. And here's two ladies drive up. I thought, oh, you can't get by with anything. Not even in the cemetery.
Oh my gosh.
And you cleaned up my dad's mug. Remember that?
Yeah, right.
That same cemetery. I've owned that.
So the cemetery you and I went to, where your dad's buried, is a cemetery that used to cut the grass.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And that cemetery was right across the street from my Aunt Lois and Uncle Harry's parents.
Yeah.
They had a nursery. They had a farm garden. They had a nursery. They raised all kinds of flowers and shrubs and whatnot. One of my jobs was the spring one time. We pinched the buds off of peonies. You know what a peony is, right?
Yeah.
A red blooming bush. Stephanie knows all about them. And so in the spring, early spring, they may start moving very early. So the nursery owners would hire young people to come in and pinch those early blooms off, because then the bloom that followed would be really just beautiful, gorgeous, full bloom, a lot of color and everything. So 2 springs I worked for my uncle's parents' nursery there, pinching the bloom off peonies. And Julie would know all about that. She'd know the whole purpose of that. And they had about nearly 10 acres of nursery plantings.
Yeah.
There, and then that cemetery across the way had been a part of a previous family's members had that acreage, and they gave it away to the city or whatever jurisdiction that was in that cemetery was located in. But it was right across the street from my Uncle Harry's parents' nursery.
Yeah.
So, and he always had a lot of orders for flowers to be delivered to the home.
Yeah.
And I would, I know there were at least 2 Easters when I rode with Harry to deliver flowers to the home, the week before Easter.
Yeah.
And, my Uncle Harry was about, he was missing a few buttons, but he was a good guy and he worked hard. Took care of my Aunt Lois. He and Aunt Lois they were more like buddies than husband and wife. And I got up one morning. I stayed at their place once in a while I was mowing that cemetery there. And I woke up one morning and I heard these people grunting and making crazy noise. And I went out in the kitchen. Here's Lois and Harry wrestling on the kitchen floor. And I mean, really being rough about it. I mean, they weren't just, they were not mad or angry. They were just messing around. And I stood there. I was about 8, I don't know, maybe 10, 11 years, 12, about 12 years old. I was working at 7. And there's my aunt and uncle, wrestling on the kitchen floor.
Yeah. Jeez.
They were characters. Believe me.
Yeah. Were they drinkers? Did they drink much?
No, they weren't. Harry was adopted. He had Indian blood in him. I forgot what tribe.
Yeah.
And of course, Lois was a real tomboy. I mean, she was in trouble all the time with my grandma and my dad. But Lois made a lot of smart investments, and she had some money when she passed away. But she and Harry would play tag, and they'd play touch football or something. And she was just as rough as any of the boys.
Wow.
And she and Harry, they were characters. They called me. One summer, I spent about a week with them, and I've forgotten why it was. Well, he had a dairy barn there, and he had about a half a dozen cows he was milking.
Yeah.
And I had to help him one summer because the Harry couldn't do everything. He injured his back or something. And I was there, and I used to love carrots out of the right out of the garden. So sometimes when we'd break for lunch, I'd go out in the garden and pull up a few carrots.
Yeah.
Well, Harry started calling me Bugs or Bugs Bunny.
Right.
You know, because Bugs Bunny on the cartoons was always eating carrots.
Yeah.
So here's Bugs.
Right.
Eating his carrots for lunch.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, my goodness is right.
You got a lot of stories, Dad. You got a lot of stories. But hey, Dad, I got to get out and take care of some business now. And okay. I just wanted to call and check on you and see how you're doing.
Well, I'm glad you did, Jerry. I love his son, and I just want you to don't get carried away.
I understand. We're all on the same page and bloodline. We understand, so I appreciate your support, and we'll be supporting each other, so that's what we do.
Okay, well, your version of the obituary is going to be on the side cover of your mother's
wow, that's great.
Celebration of Life.
I'm glad that's the case. I'm sure Mom's proud.
And really, Lee and I have put that thing together. I mean, Tonia's helped us a lot, but
right,
we've put it together.
Well, that's great, Dad. Well, I look forward.
Your little addition to the obituary will be in there.
That's awesome. I'm glad I could help.
Yeah.
I'm glad to help. All right, Dad. We'll be talking again, so you be safe, and we'll talk later. Okay,
son. Take care of yourself and your family, and give Stephanie my love, too.
All right, Dad. Love you, Dad. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And there you go. A lot of conversation. Wow. And here goes the phone again. Wow, the rains came in. The rains came in. I didn't realize it was supposed to rain this much today. And here I'm driving my nice, shiny F-150 Lightning truck. And, here it is, right? So as I was telling you, from the get-go, 2.2 miles per kilowatt. It's about what it is. And what's pretty incredible, I'm going to have gone about 95 miles. And if you look there, I was started, by the time I get in, I'll probably be about 230 some odd, 238, 235 miles. So that's about exactly right for this computer that I went close to 100 miles. And, so it's all mathematics. As here I'm in the stop and go traffic to a degree. But wow, I can't get over how rainy it is. I didn't think it was supposed to have these. They said yesterday just a 30% chance of rain. I've already killed this phone once. It's died. The battery life. I talked too much. But yesterday I was so questioning if I jump on the lawnmower, because yesterday I was like, I just want to sit down and do nothing. But I was like, better keep on going. So I kept going, and sure enough, and even to myself, I said, it's not going to rain. It only showed 30% chance of rain. What's the big deal? When you have grass like you have at my house, it turns into a big deal. It's right now, this whole afternoon, I'm not cutting grass. Now, I think tomorrow is supposed to be raining again. So the whole point is, that's a good thing. Yesterday I jumped on the mower. See, like here's a guy, you know, you can very quickly have your fields take over, and that could be, though, bush hogging possibly. You may want to bush hog, you may want to hay it, I don't know. Debatable. And talking to my dad was great. And there's a lot of content, a lot on there. I don't know how much I'll share that or not. I don't know. I did call my dad. It's a pretty emotional conversation. And I don't know. I don't know if I put this on that. I mean, it was just one conversation I had for over 30 minutes. I turned the phone off, turned back on. I mean, my dad and I talked for, I would have to say, at least 45, 50 minutes, close to an hour. And I videoed the first part of it for like 30 some odd minutes. The danger of that is sometimes YouTube takes forever to upload that video. I don't know. It's a lot of information, you know, but it was great to hear my dad's voice, and then people really can hear what's going on. So I got mixed feelings. I get called out for sharing all, I guess, but there's nothing. I see somebody wanted to attack me or my family for sharing information. I don't know. I guess I'm just stupid. Yeah, you don't have to agree with me, but probably you have to hold your breath. On the F-150 Lightning Day adventures as we head on back in. And did the dogs crap? Did they hold it? I have no idea. Is anybody home? Is anybody home? As we rock and roll back in here to the compound. The compound, look at that grass. You know, with this, yeah. Will I be cutting grass again? Today's Tuesday. If we get sunshine, nice weather, it'll probably be Saturday. Sunday, I'm cutting grass again. You don't have to. I mean, for years, I didn't cut the grass diligently, but it then gets so heavy and thick. But let me now see what the troublemakers have done, because I guarantee the troublemakers have done something in the barn. I'll be amazed if they haven't. Let me get out of the vehicle and let's go see what's going on here as I let them all out. And as I'm getting wet, I would have worn my rain jacket had I known I've been out in the rain. So I would have worn my jacket. I didn't think we'd get rain on everybody. Here's after Twin gets outside and gets the real deal. So let's see here what does it look like? This is the rain. Alright, there they come. Alright, pups. Alright, there you go. Hello. Hi. Oh, let's see what's going on here. Down, buddy. Down. It stinks. Somebody's poop, I can tell. I can tell there's poop in here because I smell it. Oh, well. It doesn't, you know, what do you expect to have 7 frickin' dogs? But I can smell it in the back there. Ouch. So, such is life. Such is the agony. Let these guys out. Hey, little pups. Down. Gypsy, you're so bad about Gypsy is so bad about jumping up and scratching you. Her and Prince are in the... I mean, alright, maybe it's just the dog's breath. Who the hell knows? But the downside is, like, there's pee. They peed. And then they usually crap way in the back corner. They do it in an area where you can't get this stuff. So now, I guess I just need to run the fan. Because, thank God, but you gotta clean up the pee. Alright, let me go over here and open the thing. But yeah, it's rain. I tell you what, we're having quite a rainy season here. Which I guess you could say it does or doesn't now. I don't know what I did with the door opener. Here it is. I can't find anything, everybody. But you got to go one way for it to go the other way. And let's see, now we go this way. And there we go. And we're back. I haven't eaten anything today. And which kind of starts to get old after. How much harder do I do that? I don't know. And there's that rear tailgate that won't open. It'd be so cool if it did, but nope. It's not. So I'll clean up this area here. Man, I swear the dog's crap somewhere. It just smells so much like poop. Yeah, see, one of the dogs, another diarrhea. So yeah, so one of the dogs, man, who the hell is it? I really think it's Ginger. Oh well. Well, stop it. Only good news if it's raining is neighbors ain't walking down the neighborhood for Gypsy to run out and go get them. All right, so I'm gonna Clorox this stuff. That's what I'm gonna do. I got my Clorox bleach. So, I mean, that stuff's potent. It just, I mean, it really just, I'm amazed that little bit is doing what it's doing. And more bird crap on the car. All right, now we're back in the shop. Truck is parked. And I just have to think to myself, so what did I accomplish by driving an electric truck? What do you really accomplish? So, I just ran the numbers. Come on, Tang, get out, Tang. Come on, dude, get out of here. Man, I can't remember doing anything. I was supposed to turn the lights on overhead, but I didn't. But so what I did is, this gets 2.2 miles per kilowatt. When I drove 95 miles, divided by that equals 43.18 kilowatts. I pay 11 cents a kilowatt to recharge to 43.18. That's $4.73 it'll cost me tonight to recharge this truck. If I had a gas truck, they got 18 miles per gallon, 95 miles, 5.2 gallons. I would say the average price of gas is $3, 15.83, savings of $11.10. So if you just use that equation, but I usually drive more, we drive more than 95 miles a day. We usually drive about 150. But just that equation, it's about a $250 a month savings based on $3 gas. But if you're doing more than that, you think you're probably going to save yourself a good $300. But it's not like radical. That's where I think people really get lost in these vehicles is it's not like you drive this thing for free. And the problem is, if this truck, if you pay the premium price for it, the number doesn't work. You just are more about wanting that really cool technology, electric vehicle. But at the end of the day, it's not like you're saving yourself $500 or $1,000 a month on your expenses of energy unless you're just full-blown going 200 miles a day. So if you're a person commuting 200 miles a day, then yeah, you're going to probably save yourself about $500 a month on fuel. But if you're not doing that, it's just, once again, you just heard the numbers. At 95 miles a day, you're saving yourself $11 a day. And 22 business days, that's like $225, $233. So, and that's where I think that this whole green agenda thing got way out of control with electric vehicles, is everybody got caught up in thinking they're going to just save a gazillion dollars on your electric vehicle, not having to buy gas anymore, never stepping back and saying, but how do I recharge it? And if you don't have the convenience of a in-home charging, you have to go to the gas station. If you live in an apartment or a condo and you're forced to go to the gas station, you're not saving any money. So for anybody out there watching my channel, I just try to give back when I shovel out. But the whole point is, for me, in hindsight, would I really buy an electric truck again? And I wouldn't. I would not. I would buy the Ford Power Boost. But at the end of the day, you're better off because it's every bit of this pro charging system capability for me to do the onboard use of me powering my power tools off the back of the bed of the vehicle. So for that versatility for me, yeah, once again, if somebody said right down to me, would you trade this truck for the EcoBoost Power Boost that I used to have? I would take that back in a heartbeat. Just because this here it's chump change at the end of the day for the fuel savings. It isn't huge. It's definitely money, but it's not like radically huge. And I'm basing my 11 cent a kilowatt. I could be wrong. I could be at 12 or 15 cent a kilowatt now. I don't know.